Imagine a weapon so powerful, yet invisible, one that disarms conflict without a word, commands respect without force, and fortifies your inner world against the chaos of life. It isn't silence, though silence plays its part. It's a strategy older than the winds, whispered by sages and tested by warriors. A secret wielded not with words, but with mastery over self. A code that, once unlocked, changes not just how others see you, but how you see the world. Today, we will uncover this timeless strategy, a way of being that Stoic philosophers perfected to transform pain into power, anger into strength, and chaos into clarity. If you're ready to learn how to master not only the world around you, but the tempest within, stay with us until the end. Before we start the video, tell us how you will plan to apply these strategies, or what challenges you faced in striving for fortitude. Now let's begin. Number 1. The shield of rational restraint. At the heart of this strategy lies an unyielding principle: never react in haste. The Stoics believed that in the fleeting moment between an event and our response, we hold the key to freedom and power. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's greatest voices, famously taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words carry a wisdom so profound that they can reshape how we navigate life itself. To understand this better, picture the human mind as a fortress. Every insult, misfortune, or provocation is an arrow shot at your walls. Most people open the gates immediately, letting chaos storm through their defenses. But the Stoic does not. The Stoic holds the line, choosing instead to pause and assess. They ask themselves, what does this situation demand of me? Will my response align with my principles, or will it betray them? This pause is the cornerstone of what I call rational restraint. It is not suppression, for suppression denies emotion altogether. Rather, it is mastery, the deliberate act of stepping outside one's immediate feelings to judge their worth. Is this anger helping me or harming me? Is my fear rooted in reality or an illusion? Is my pride worth defending, or am I fighting a battle that does not matter? These questions are not easy to ask in moments of turbulence, but therein lies the discipline. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, lived by this discipline. In his journal, he reflected, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words were not theoretical musings, but daily practices. Imagine ruling an empire as vast as Rome, with constant pressures, betrayals, and wars. Marcus could have reacted impulsively to every challenge, but he chose restraint. He paused, reflected, and responded with wisdom, rather than emotion. Think of a moment when you felt the fire of anger or the sting of humiliation. Your instincts may have pushed you to strike back, to shout, or to retaliate. But did those actions truly serve you, or did they lead to regret? Rational restraint allows you to stand tall amidst provocation, not because you suppress your feelings, but because you transcend them. You become the master of your mind, not its servant. Rational restraint is not weakness, it is strength in its purest form. To resist the pull of destructive emotions requires a courage that many fail to summon. It is the act of holding the reins when the wild horses of anger, fear, and pride threaten to drag you into the abyss. It is the ability to say, "I will not let the chaos of the world dictate my identity." In that single decision, you reclaim power over your life. This shield of rational restraint does more than protect, it transforms. It turns moments of conflict into opportunities for growth. It allows you to rise above, to act with integrity, and to embody the virtues of wisdom and fortitude. Overcoming destructive emotions begins here, in the mastery of the self. This is your shield, the first layer of a strategy, far more powerful than mere silence. Number 2, the weapon of selective speech. While silence is often praised as a virtue, the true Stoic knows it is not the absence of words, but the mastery of them that defines strength. Words, like arrows, have the power to pierce or protect. They can destroy reputations or build bridges. And yet, the untrained mind wields words recklessly, scattering them like seeds on barren soil. The Stoic, on the other hand, chooses each word as a craftsman chooses tools, with purpose, precision, and restraint. Seneca, the Roman statesman and philosopher, warned of the dangers of careless speech. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. He understood that most words spoken in haste are weapons forged in the fires of emotion, sharp, destructive, and often regrettable. A Stoic, therefore, does not speak to fill the void or to satisfy their ego. They speak only when their words serve truth, resolve conflict, or elevate the conversation. This principle of selective speech requires discipline, but its rewards are immeasurable. Imagine a heated argument where accusations are flying, tempers are flaring, and emotions are raw. In such moments, silence is not enough. True mastery lies in speaking only what is necessary, and only when it can guide the situation toward reason and understanding. The Stoic asks, will my words bring clarity, or will they add to the chaos? Do they stem from wisdom, or from the impulsive need to defend my pride? Consider the story of Cato the Younger, a Stoic statesman renowned for his unyielding integrity. In the Roman Senate, where manipulation and flattery were commonplace, Cato was a man of few but powerful words. When others indulged in self-serving rhetoric, he remained silent, observing, analyzing, and waiting for the right moment. And when he spoke, his words carried the weight of truth and the authority of conviction. His speech was a weapon, not of destruction, but of transformation. Selective speech is more than a strategy, it is a reflection of inner harmony. It requires us to conquer the ego that demands to be heard, the pride that insists on having the last word, and the anger that seeks to wound. It demands that we choose our words not to impress, but to express wisdom. In practice, this means speaking less, but saying more. It means listening deeply before responding and asking yourself, is this response necessary? Does it serve a higher purpose? Over time, this discipline cultivates respect. People begin to see you as someone whose words carry meaning, someone whose speech is a beacon of reason in a world drowning in noise. The weapon of selective speech is a complement to the shield of rational restraint. Where restraint guards against impulsive reactions, selective speech ensures that when you do act, it is with precision and purpose. Together, they form an armor of self-mastery, allowing you to navigate the chaos of life with grace and fortitude. Number 3, the fortress of inner detachment. In a world that constantly pulls us toward chaos, the true Stoic builds a fortress, not of stone or steel, but of inner detachment. This is not a retreat from life, but a refusal to let external events dictate one's inner state. To the Stoic, the self is a sanctuary, a sacred space that no insult, misfortune, or praise can penetrate without permission. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means viewing the world as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This wisdom reveals the essence of detachment, aligning one's expectations with reality. Most of our suffering, the Stoics argued, arises not from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. Consider a storm. The winds howl, the rain falls, and trees bend under the weight of nature's fury. You cannot stop the storm. To try would be madness. But what you can control is whether you let it inside. Will you panic, curse the heavens, and lament your misfortune? Or will you stand firm, knowing that storms are as natural as the sunshine that follows? Detachment is the choice to weather life's tempests with grace, rather than despair. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on this principle. As emperor, he faced betrayal, illness, and the weight of an empire's demands. Yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For Marcus, detachment was not a withdrawal from responsibility, but an embrace of reality. He knew that while he could not control the actions of others or the whims of fate, he could control his response. This fortress of detachment is not built overnight. It requires practice, patience, and perspective. Begin by identifying what truly lies within your control. Your thoughts, your actions, your values, these are yours to command. Everything else, the opinions of others, the outcome of your efforts, the passing of time, belongs to the external world. To attach your happiness to what you cannot control is to hand over the keys to your fortress. Detachment also demands that we confront our attachments. Do we cling to status, wealth, or relationships, believing they define our worth? The Stoic knows these are transient, like leaves in the wind. To build a fortress on such fragile foundations is to invite collapse. Instead, anchor your identity in virtues like wisdom, courage, and justice, qualities that no force can take from you. When you master detachment, you become unshakable. Insults lose their sting, for they cannot touch your inner self. Failures become lessons, not tragedies, for your worth is not tied to success. Even loss, painful as it may be, becomes a part of life's natural rhythm rather than a cause for despair. In detachment, you find the freedom to live fully, without fear of what the world may bring. This is the fortress of inner detachment, a sanctuary that shields you from life's storms and allows you to walk through the world with clarity and strength. It is not a rejection of life, but a deeper embrace of its reality, grounded in the knowledge that true power lies within. Number 4, the sword of purposeful action. A Stoic understands that life is fleeting, and within this fleeting existence lies the opportunity to act with purpose. This is the essence of the fourth element in our strategy, purposeful action. While others squander their days chasing fleeting pleasures or fearing failure, the Stoic wields their time like a sword, cutting through distractions to pursue what truly matters. Seneca warned us about the greatest tragedy of life. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Purposeful action begins with this awareness that time is the most precious resource we possess, and every moment is a chance to align our actions with our values. To waste time on trivialities is to dishonor the gift of existence itself. Purposeful action is not about relentless activity, but deliberate intention. Imagine a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Every strike of the hammer is calculated, every movement intentional. The Stoic lives in the same way, shaping their life with actions that serve a higher purpose. They do not act out of compulsion or impulse, but with clarity and resolve. This clarity comes from understanding one's principles. What do you stand for? What legacy do you wish to leave behind? These questions are not abstract. They are the compass by which the Stoic navigates life. Marcus Aurelius, in his relentless self-examination, reminded himself, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." These words urge us to stop hesitating, to stop waiting for ideal circumstances, and instead to act now with purpose. But purposeful action also requires courage, where to live with intention often means swimming against the current of society. The world will tempt you with distractions, criticize your priorities, and challenge your resolve. Yet the Stoic does not falter. They know that their purpose is not to please others, but to live in accordance with reason and virtue. Consider the life of Cato the Younger, who stood unwavering in his principles even when it cost him politically and personally. His actions were not dictated by ambition or fear, but by his commitment to justice. In the face of tyranny, he chose to act with integrity, even knowing the consequences. His life reminds us that purposeful action is not always easy, but it is always right. Living with purpose transforms even the mundane into the meaningful. Whether it is your work, your relationships, or your personal growth, each moment becomes an opportunity to act in alignment with your values. This doesn't mean chasing perfection. It means striving for excellence in what you do and how you do it. When you wield the sword of purposeful action, you cut away the distractions that drain your energy and focus. You reject the lure of procrastination and excuses. Instead, you move forward with clarity, determination, and a commitment to living fully. Purposeful action is the antidote to regret, for it ensures that when the final chapter of your life is written, it will be a story of meaning and impact. This sword is not just a tool for achieving external success, but for cultivating inner fulfillment. By living with purpose, you honor the brevity of life and embrace the responsibility of shaping your destiny. It is this clarity of action that allows the Stoic to stand tall, even in the face of adversity. Number 5. The flame of inner virtue. At the core of the Stoic's existence burns a flame, steady, unwavering, and eternal. This flame is virtue, the essence of a life well lived. Unlike external possessions or fleeting achievements, virtue is wholly within our control, untouchable by the chaos of the outside world. It is the final and most powerful element of our strategy, for it illuminates the path to true freedom and fulfillment. To the Stoic, virtue is not an abstract ideal but a daily practice. It is the commitment to live with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These cardinal virtues are not mere aspirations. They are the standards by which every thought, word, and action is measured. Marcus Aurelius, in his Reflections, wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simplicity reveals a profound truth. A virtuous life is a deliberate life, free from the contradictions and regrets that plague those who stray from their principles. But why is virtue the flame that sustains the Stoic? Because it is the one thing that cannot be taken away. Fortune may strip us of wealth, health, and status, but it cannot touch our character. Epictetus reminded us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery begins with the recognition that virtue is the only possession worth guarding. Living virtuously does not mean living without struggle. On the contrary, it means embracing struggle as a necessary fire that tempers the soul. Just as a blade is sharpened through friction, so too is character, forged through adversity. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to practice courage, each conflict a chance to exercise justice, and each temptation a test of temperance. The Stoic does not shy away from these trials. They welcome them, knowing that true strength emerges only through effort. Imagine a life guided by this inner flame. In moments of doubt, it offers clarity. In the face of injustice, it fuels resolve. And in the presence of despair, it reignites hope. This is the power of virtue. It is both the light that guides us and the fire that strengthens us. Seneca likened virtue to a steady ship navigating turbulent seas. The storms of life may batter the hull and toss the sails, but the ship remains steadfast, its course unchanged. To cultivate this steadiness, the Stoic dedicates themselves to self-examination. At the end of each day, they reflect, did my actions today align with my values? Did I act with wisdom and fairness, or was I led astray by anger or fear? This practice keeps the flame alive, ensuring it does not waver even in the darkest of times. The flame of inner virtue is the ultimate safeguard against destructive emotions. It burns away pettiness, ego, and fear, leaving only what is essential. By nurturing this flame, we not only find strength for ourselves, but become a source of light for others. The virtuous person inspires, uplifts, and leads, not through dominance, but through example. To carry this flame is to live with purpose, resilience, and integrity. It is the final piece of our strategy, the force that unites restraint, speech, detachment, and action into a cohesive whole. With virtue as your guide, you do not merely endure life, you transcend it. As you reflect on these principles, consider how you can weave them into your own life. Begin by practicing restraint in moments of turmoil, speaking with purpose, detaching from what you cannot control, acting with intention, and nurturing your inner virtue. These practices are not easy, but they are transformative. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.